Hello world, it's good to be back. Sorry for that little pause in there. There's been a lot going on at Tailosive, as you've probably heard in my vlogs. But luckily, I think we're back for good. I'm gonna try to get back to 2 episodes of Hello World every single Monday and Thursday. Hopefully you're watching this on a Thursday, if everything went going to plan. And I'm absolutely very grateful for all of you guys who have stuck with this channel and watched all of the new shows on it. All 2 of them. But still, I'm very excited to get back at it again, with today's topic being, is technology making us dumber? I had to talk about this question a lot in school, and it usually divided the classroom pretty good. It usually got a lot of people to the idea that, you know, with so much information now so easily accessible with Google and the internet, it's making finding knowledge actually really easy and actually so lazy in a way that people are taking knowledge for granted. You know, in the old days, if you wanted to find more information about a topic, you went to a library. And now, since you don't have to do that, you can just Google anything you want with your phone. There's not that much effort required to look up information. So there's also the issue of our phones do so many other things that it's very easy to get distracted, since we have this one-way teleportation device to infinite knowledge that's also filled with Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. You could be using that teleportation right now. There's so many other things to get distracted with that people don't look for knowledge anymore. They just kind of assume based on what they've seen already, but never want to go out of their way to find actual evidence, which I can honestly understand. If a library was filled with a food court with free pizza, a gaming arcade, and, you know, like an Apple store and a mobile Best Buy, a lot of people wouldn't really be interested in the books as much. That's kind of the world we're living in right now with our smartphones. They have so much going on with them right now. There's so many other things you can do with them that looking up actual common knowledge that you want to use for a research project or in an essay isn't actually that common. In fact, if we don't find the answer within about 5 minutes of searching it, we kind of give up and go back to whatever it is we were doing. And of course, a lot of people may say that the internet is making us dumber if you can just look in any comment section ever. If you ever want to lose faith in all of humanity, I recommend looking in the comments of any popular post on any social media site. You will find opinions and sayings people aren't afraid to post publicly and go, are you serious? These people are out there right now. I literally posted a photo with watch bands on my Instagram one day, and it ended up being a political conversation in the comments, and I was like, really? Just for buying some watch bands? So yes, well, I think it is very easy to make the argument that the internet is making us dumber. I personally disagree. And a lot of you may agree with me on this, though. I think that the internet exposes people who were dumb to begin with, and the world has always been filled with people that are not so smart and very smart, but now because of the internet, every single person has a voice. Whereas before, the lesser intelligent people who would say things that are so brash and unthinkable didn't really get a podium to speak their mind on, and now they finally do. There's a lot of people that I refer to as trolls out there that are not really being as brash and being as offensive as possible because they necessarily believe it, but there's actually a lot of people who just want a reaction of some sort and will literally comment anything to see what kind of brash reaction they'll get in return. And in that way, I could kind of see the side of the argument that technology and the internet is making us dumber, because it means there are less consequences for our actions. It means that if you go on a popular YouTube video and you say the most offensive thing possible, there's not that much that can actually happen to you. There's not that much damage inflicted on that person in return. They do not have to look someone in the face and say those brash things. And in fact, I think most of the people who comment like that would not be capable of looking other people in the eye and saying those same things. They just know that if they comment this on the internet, they're protected because those people don't know where they live, and oftentimes they don't even know what they look like, so there's very little they can make fun of in return. So could maybe the internet be providing a way for people to experiment in harsh and offensive ways? Could they go online now and get amusement out of being as offensive as possible? In that way, I can kind of understand the point of view of people saying that the internet and technology is making us dumber because it lessens the consequences of our actions. Now, for moving to the counterpoint of the internet is actually making us smarter, I like to look at the idea that the internet has provided so many people with knowledge that used to actually cost money. For a long time in history, most communities did not have libraries, and there wasn't a place to go to find knowledge about the world. And to be honest with you, I think I've learned more from YouTube than I have from school in all of its entirety. So in the olden days, for instance, if you wanted to become a filmmaker, you had to find some sort of film school where they had all the equipment and all the knowledge, where other people with past experiences could tell you how you get your foot in the door with the film industry. The internet has done a massive thing with the film industry now by giving more and more people a voice, to where now me in my attic bedroom can be talking to people all over the world because you're watching this. That's why it's called Hello World, right? right? Yeah. And it's also provided a way for everyone to have free access to millions of tutorials about how to use cameras or how to edit or how to color correct, and where now a lot of filmmakers out there would probably tell you you don't need to go to film school to become a successful filmmaker. It's not going to hurt, but it's definitely not for everyone. Now, I know of that film school example because of personal experience, but it is definitely not limited to just that topic. I've seen thousands of videos out there that show people how to fix their lawnmowers, fix their microwaves, fix the chain on their motorcycle. That's one of the most popular things my dad does with YouTube, is he looks up how you fix certain things, and typically there will be an answer. Whereas before you would have to go into a store and find a mechanic and usually end up spending some money because you simply don't know what you're doing. But now there's that free unlimited resource that provides everyone with lots of knowledge, even about things we didn't even know we wanted to know about. There's a lot of channels I've been discovering recently that are just simply called like real life lore, or more bigger ones like Vsauce, that just kind of explain things that may be interesting to people, and they've made an entire career out of making videos that are simply diving deep into a topic that is by definition educational, and a lot of people obviously enjoy that. A big portion of Good Mythical Mornings shows is just focusing on, is this true, is this false, and in that way I think humanity is learning a lot, because now we have lots of communities that are building a business around presenting knowledge that we didn't know before in an entertaining way, which I think is honestly beautiful and amazing. I think if you can get people interested in learning new things, you've changed the world in a way, because we're now learning about things on YouTube that we never thought we would ever know about. Like, how deep can humanity dig a hole? What does America do during a doomsday situation? How dangerous are the reality of ICBMs? All kinds of things that would be kind of hard to figure out back in the days where you'd only had a library, but now it's something you know you could probably find the answer to within a minute. And of course, as time goes on, it's only going to get easier to develop all of these technologies that allow people to have these resources. And while yes, college is important for many careers, I do think a lot of people are going to discover it is not required, and in return save themselves a lot of money and time in the long run. So this is a very difficult question to ask, and I understand why while I was in school, it kind of divided the classroom, with lots of people saying that because knowledge is so easy to find now, we take that for granted and don't actually put in the effort to find knowledge, and we'll usually just go with the first answer we find. If you Google something, you can just scroll down, say, that answer supports my opinion, so therefore it is fact, and for a lot of people, it does make them less intelligible. But then again, there is this new wave of learning and education where I do think it is making us smarter overall, because we have now one of the most efficient ways of conveying new information to people than we've ever had before in our entire history. So a better way of looking at how Google affects the world, as well as technology and the internet in general, I'd like to go with the opinion that it is neither good nor bad, but it is simply powerful. I think humanity is going to have a big challenge over the next century of adapting to technology being a part of our lives. I've noticed a lot more recently that when parents are trying to get their kids to calm down, they'll simply hand them their phone and let them start watching a video, and they'll do that when they're only 2-3 years old. And it gets them to quiet down, yes, but it makes me think about the future of teenagers who will eventually grow into adults if they are built on a lifestyle where if they want to be calm, if they want to be relaxed, they have to have some kind of device playing some sort of content for them. How is technology going to shape humanity in our future? For one, it's important to understand that it's not going to go anywhere. The answer to the problem is to not say we're going to have to stop making technology, we're going to have to stop buying it. Apple's Q3 reports just came out, and I can tell you that the sales of iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks and Apple Watches are not going down, and over the next few decades they are only going to increase. So the big challenge humanity is going to have to face in the future is how do we adapt so that we can still be social creatures, we can still talk to each other efficiently face to face, but also know how to efficiently use this wide array of resources we now have on the internet to the best of our capabilities, so that it still leaves us with a smarter mind and not a tethered mind, so that we are completely tied to that device at all times and we lose track of how to actually interact with one another. Will most of humanity become tethered to their devices, or will most of it adapt and realize how to use it for the greater good? The answer is both. I think a lot of humanity is going to polarize, and a lot of kids right now that are used to just grabbing their parents' phone and staring at it whenever they're being too rowdy and the parents need them to calm down, they're going to grow up with that, and I think they may have a problem of becoming tethered to it in the future that will be very hard to break. That habit's going to be ingrained into their mind, and it'll be very difficult for them to be separated from that. But I also think that there's going to be a lot of smart kids out there that are going to figure out how to realize that Twitter is not the best way to have moral conversations, realize that having the last word in a comment argument is not going to fulfill or satisfy any party, and I just think humanity is going to saturate on on both sides of the spectrum. There's going to be a lot of both. So exactly what will happen, of course, no one really knows, but what I can promise you is that 100 years from now, humanity is going to be drastically different than it is today. And I definitely believe that the technology we're using right now in the internet is going to adapt even further in the oncoming decades. And I really, really hope that humanity is able to adapt to it and realize how to use it for its best strengths and not fall into the bad habit of getting tethered to it and the bad habit of making you lazier for when you're looking for answers and for when you're trying to communicate people you've never met. So do yourself a favor, since you've been watching this video, try to keep these things in mind as you're going on YouTube and watching other amounts of content. And not just YouTube, of course. Apply this to Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media site we'll be using in the future. Try to understand that it's not just a line of code you're responding to in the comments. That is a real human being who is raised differently than you, who may feel strongly about their opinion, and realize that if you were face to face, you probably wouldn't try to make fun of them as much as you are in the comments. And it's very hard to change people's minds just with a simple comment. So try to be a bit more responsible out there. Try to be a tad more respectful. That's what I'd love to see in the future. And I do think that if we can use technology correctly, it can make us smarter, but very easily, if we are not careful, it will make us dumber, and it could mean a big problem for the future of our species. What do you think about technology making us dumber? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, respectfully, that is. And of course, I'm very, very excited for making more and more episodes of Hello World, so if you've got more Hello World ideas, also let me know in the comments below, and I'll consider them. Thanks for watching this one, you guys. I'll see you in Taylor's of Unboxed tomorrow, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.